What's going on, everybody? This is Jade Rowe and the Living in Minneapolis channel. Today, we're going to talk about what it's like to commute here in the Minneapolis area. What's going on, everybody? Again, my name is Jade Rowe. I am a local real estate agent and investor here in the Minneapolis area. I'm helping countless families, single folks, everybody far and in between make a move to the Minneapolis area. Whether you're relocating from a different state or relocating within the state, I would love to be a resource for you. I was born and raised in the state. I know it like the back of my hand, and I would love to be of service to you. Reach out to me anytime. My name, number, and email will be down below, and I would love to connect. Also, if you want to be the first to learn about more videos that I release, which is all about living in the Minneapolis area, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about what it's like to live in the Minneapolis area. I love it and I want to share it with you, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know and never miss what I release. All right, let's get started. So we are looking at the Minneapolis area map right now. And what I want to do today is just kind of look at some of the roads, talk to you guys about some of the highlights, what to expect if you're thinking of making a move to the Minneapolis area, or if you're even thinking of making a move within the Minneapolis area. I think it's super important to think about and consider what it's going to be like for your commute, what it's going to be like to commute to work, to happy hours, to friends and family, social gatherings, whatever it may be, right? So first thing I want to kind of talk about is some of the large roads that go through Minneapolis. Obviously, there's a lot of roads, but to start with, you can see that Highway 35 here comes down from the south, comes all the way up through the Minneapolis area, and then continues to go north on 35W here. The next big road is 94 that comes all the way up through from the St. Cloud suburb, or kind of St. Cloud metro area there, a different larger city, not as big as Minneapolis, but still a pretty big city up there. Comes all the way down here, goes through the city kind of like this, diagonal, and then exits out to the east. So it kind of comes through like this, and then comes right through to the east, headed towards Wisconsin. You also have highways of 52 that comes through, turns into 10, and then turns into Highway 65. You also have Highway 169 that comes through here and then exits down here to the southwest as well. So that's kind of the high level look at it. And now what we'll do is just kind of get back into the area here. And again, as you can see, you have 94 that turns into, this is 94, but it also branches off, goes to 494, branches off to 694. You have 35 east, you have 35W, which is just kind of the direction that the road heads, 169, Highway 100 here. And what I would like to do first, now that we've kind of looked at some of the overview of the roads, is check out the potential commute time. So let's say you want to live in or near Lake Harriet, right? So I've talked about Lake Harriet before on other videos. A great lake here, close to 50th and France, the Fulton neighborhood, awesome walking and running paths around that. Let's say you want to live there, but you work in Golden Valley, which is a suburb just outside of the Minneapolis area. So right now it's 1:50 in the afternoon and I'm filming this. It's 18 minutes away. So to get from Lake Harriet to Golden Valley. But now let's say you have to go from Golden Valley to Lake Harriet and you're leaving at 5 o'clock after your workday ends, let's say. Now that commute time can be up to 26 minutes. Highway 100 overall is better than some other roads that you will travel on, but it is, it does get congested kind of right around this area, and does get congested around 7. Highway 7 here is a popular highway to get to the downtown area, to get to the Calhoun Isles area, and to get some popular St. Louis Park areas as well. You can also see that here that you have to kind of weave through the neighborhoods. A lot of traffic lights that you'll experience here to get to the Lake Harriet neighborhoods. Let's say though you want to go from Lake Harriet, you want to still live there and go to downtown, or you work in downtown. At 5 o'clock, that's going to be still a 26-minute drive. Now let's say, go out here a little bit. Let's say you want to, again, work in downtown. You're going to be working in downtown, but you don't want to live in Lake Harriet. You want to live maybe in a suburb like Wayzata, which is super popular suburb just outside Minneapolis. Again, right now it would probably be about a 20-minute drive. It would be about 30 minutes to get there after work. And this spot right here, when kind of 394 and 94 come together, that's a really, really congested area. We see a lot of congestion right here. That can be absolutely brutal because you have people trying to go get on 94 going north, people going east, people getting 93, 94. It can be a pretty tough area. Let's look at another one. Minneapolis to Eden Prairie. Eden Prairie, again, is another suburb outside of the Minneapolis area. Yep, 35 minutes or even up to 40 minutes, depending on which roads you take to get there. And 62, again, I don't think I've talked about that in other videos, but that is a really, really rough road during your commute times, whether it's before work or after work. That road does get quite congested. But overall, honestly, most of the suburbs, if you're trying to go from Minneapolis or any of these neighborhoods in Minneapolis, if you're trying to get to any of the suburbs, whether it's Plymouth or Maple Grove or Minnetonka, Hopkins, Eden Prairie, Wayzata, all of these suburbs in general are going to be about a 30-minute commute, give or take a little bit, to the Minneapolis downtown areas. There are some roads that are worse than others. Like I said, 62 is really bad. 7 gets kind of really rough right around this area in the uptown, or just before the uptown area, kind of the Fern Hill neighborhood, because we have Excelsior Boulevard, which is here. This gets really jam-packed as well. So Highway 7 can be busy because people are getting in and off of Excelsior Boulevard, which has a lot of kind of cool restaurants and things like that. Highway 169 is kind of similar to Highway 494. It kind of flip-flops. Some days 169 will get busier than 494. Other days 494 will be busier. I'm usually kind of just looking at the traffic maps to kind of see which highway is busier on that given day, because they kind of do the same thing. I mean, they kind of go from the north to the south of the metro, right? They basically travel north to south. So they kind of do the same, which is why you kind of experience, kind of a flip-flop. Other roads that get really busy, 35W does get really busy. 494 gets busy down here in the South Metro. 35W here in Powderhorn gets really, really busy as well, especially in this area when you have a lot of roads coming together. Also keep in mind that if you have to cross the river down here at all, there's only a certain amount of roads that will allow you to do that. So going from, say, Minneapolis to Egan, which is a suburb just south of the river there, that can right now it's 25 minutes, right? So that's a good 17-mile drive. It's 25 minutes. If you were to leave though at that 5 o'clock time, I bet that's going to be 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Yeah, about 40 minutes, I would say. Again, right here, 35W to 62, this is a nightmare of a spot. You have a lot of people trying to get to the airport. You have a lot of people trying to get away from the airport. You have people trying to get out of the cities. That is definitely a really, really tough spot. And then obviously, right here can be difficult because you have a lot of people trying to get onto Highway 77 that's going to take you across the river there. So just keep that in mind. If you're wanting to live, in the South Metro where you have to cross the river at all, there's only a certain amount of roads that can get you there, and it can cause congestion. Next thing I want to talk about is something that some people forget about, is crossing the city. So let's say, hey, you have relatives, or somehow you want to be up in this northeast metro here, Mounds View, Shoreview, New Brighton, Arden Hills, awesome spots. But you're like, well, I commute though, or I live in Eden Prairie. What does that look like? Well, that you don't want to be crossing the cities like that, because that can be, you can, right? But it can be quite painful. So right now it's a 32-minute drive. But if you are leaving again at the end of your workday, it's going to be, could be up to a 50-minute drive. I've done this drive before. It's not fun. It's about an hour. I think that's being conservative if there's no crashes or anything like that. It's definitely over an hour drive to get from one side of the city to the next. Again, if you were to go from Maple Grove to St. Paul, which is another large city, that's a 40-minute drive. So you don't want to be doing X's if possible, right? So you don't want to be going from North Oaks to Eden Prairie. You don't want to be going from Maple Grove to Inver Grove Heights. You don't want to be doing X's like this. You can do this way, you can go east, you can go west, you can go north, you can go south. You just don't want to be doing big X's across the city because that can get quite painful. Also, going from St. Paul again to the other side of like the West Metro, like in Eden Prairie that we looked at, I have done this commute. That can be pretty excruciating as well. Takes a long time. You can see that they're taking you can either go up through the Minneapolis area or you can go down through 494. I would probably take this way if I was to make this route. I do not want to get on 62. That's for me. I avoid that road at all costs if possible. But that kind of gives you an idea of some of the roads. So again, I hope this was kind of helpful to show you kind of the map, what I look at, some of the roads, what it is kind of like to commute in the Minneapolis area. Like I said, it's a large city. There is a lot of people on the road and you're going to experience traffic. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're considering where you want to live, where you want to commute. One thing that I'm looking at here again is like Woodbury is a super popular suburb again. But again, if you don't want to be going to Maple Grove, if you want to be staying on kind of this side, if you're wanting to commute, you don't want to have to cross the river here at all. You can cross these rivers. Woodbury to Inver Grove isn't too bad, or Woodbury to Mendota Heights. But if you got to go from Woodbury to St. Louis Park or Golden Valley or anything on the west side of the river here, you'd rather not do that and have to, you'd rather avoid that if possible, because your commute is going to be quite long. So anyways, hope this was helpful. If you guys have any more questions, reach out anytime. I'm obviously an open book and would love to share my knowledge of this. Also, if I can help you guys in any way with any sort of real estate needs that you have, please reach out. And finally, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can be the first to know about more videos that I release. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you later.